What's going on, everybody? My name is Kylan, and welcome to the AV Pack Pod. And today, my special guest is Anisa.
Hi.
Today, me and Anisa are going to be doing sequels versus prequels. We took two movies from the same franchise, and we're trying to see if the sequel or prequel was better than the original. So I believe all the movies we have, are they all sequels?
Yes.
Okay, so they're all sequels. Now, we have 4 different movies that we each had to watch. So she picked 2, I picked 2. We had to watch all of them. So the first movie we're going to talk about is Legally Blonde.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the first one we did Legally Blonde 2. This is one that you picked for me to watch. So first of all, why did you pick Legally Blonde?
I love Legally Blonde. I think that Elle Woods is just really inspirational as a woman, showing that, like, screw you, like, I can do my own thing, like, I can do this, and really empowering women to do what they love, or just really that you can do anything with hard work, and if you have the drive, you can really do it.
All right, okay. So let's kick it off, right? So this movie, right, at the beginning of the movie, we can see that Elle is not the smartest character at first. She's the stereotypical dumb blonde at the beginning. Her boyfriend, I believe, what's his name, Warner?
Warner.
Yeah, Warner. Literally broke up with her. Not even, what was it, like, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes into the movie, broke up with her, went off to Harvard. And then she made a smart decision to follow him just because she wanted to.
Yeah. You know, she was thinking, oh, this guy thinks that I'm so dumb and stupid, but I have so much more. She realized she had so much more throughout the movie. She kept pushing herself. She had these downfalls throughout the movie. After the courtroom scene, she had all these downfalls, but she pushed for everything that she accomplished. She pushed for everything. She never completely gave up. She had thoughts about it. She was scared, but she did it.
All right, so we, so just so we won't get into every single detail of the movie, or it won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it already. Do you have like a few favorite moments or whatever from this movie?
I would say my favorite is the courtroom scene. I think that was just, like, it gave me chills. Like, the fact that she just kind of, it shows, like, how you can build up from one point. She got one thing, and then she was able to build up from that. I'm trying not to spoil it. Sorry. I really liked the ending, her speech, and I have some quotes. First impressions aren't always correct, and have faith in yourself. I think those are really important because it just really shows how you're supposed to be, how we're all supposed to be as humans, that we're supposed to have faith in ourselves. And you don't judge a book by its cover. You don't just meet someone and then if they say something wrong or you think that they believe in something specific, like, it's not always right. You're not always right about that person.
Well, I feel like I took a whole different approach to this film than you did. So first off, one of my favorite moments was it was the water fountain scene.
Oh, okay.
Where she would just stand on her feet, and was it the pool boy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the pool boy. He turned around and just said, "Don't be tapping your last season Prada shoes."
Yeah.
I was all like, "Yeah, you already gave yourself away."
It was spicy. It's like,
don't
you eat that?
But I found so this movie, it was a different take, because like you see like a normal law show or a movie like this, everybody's real serious. There were a lot of serious people in this movie. There's a lot of people that you don't like in this movie.
Yeah.
Was there anyone, like one particular character that you just hated throughout the entire movie, no matter if they, that character changed?
besides Warner, which I think everyone hated him by the end, but besides him, I didn't love Vivian. I thought that her change in character was fake. Yeah. If that makes sense. You know, she ended up being her best friend. It just kind of sounded like too quick of a change for me. It was so sudden. It was like, oh, they went from her dating her ex-boyfriend to being her best friend. Not that it can't happen, but that they didn't show context of that happening, and it was a surprise.
Yeah, I felt it was a little weird seeing her just all of a sudden just want to be friends with Elle after I think it was
Courtroom.
like a press conference or whatever it was. It was just so weird how all of a sudden she just switched up, and then she switched again after she thought that Elle was sleeping with the law professor. I'm looking like, bro, like, I can't trust you at all.
Yeah, I mean, you just, like you said, you just can't trust anyone, and it's like, again, back to the first impressions, she had that impression of Elle, didn't even know her.
Yeah, that's true. So, save a little time. Let's go ahead and get into, what did you rate this film?
Oh, I rated Legally Blonde, the first one. I rated it a 9 out of 10. I love that movie. 10. It's just so inspiring. She overcame all these stereotypes about blondes and just kind of women in general. Like, everything was just so upfront and, like, perfect. I think everything played out like it was supposed to. Like, you would expect it, but sometimes those movies are the best, or when they play out when you expect it.
Yeah. I gave this movie an 8.5 only because I'm like, the only thing about it was it wasn't it was a little, to me, a little bit too serious at like certain moments, like the part where Vivian again was accusing what's her name, Elle. It was like, it was okay or whatever. Like, I kind of seen it coming, but yeah, definitely it was a hilarious movie. I laughed more than I thought I would be.
It's a big comedy.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into Legally Blonde 2. Now, this movie was somewhat different from the original, which I'm okay, having something a little different or whatever. But did you have any favorite moments from this movie?
I really liked when she told Victoria Rudd, the rep, to just kind of piss off. And I think that was really, really important because you see that, like, a little bit from Victoria Rudd, that it was like, oh, something's kind of wrong with her. And then you really see her just kind of going at Elle and being like, my stuff is more important. And then it's like the fact that Elle was able to still get her bill with this big representative going against her, that's a big deal. And that's something that I think was really cool.
I definitely think that what they did better in this movie was the progression of the character, like the character building or whatever with Elle, because you see her just like in the first one, like that goofy airhead girl. Then you start to see more layers, from her character. You see that she's actually a good person, and she's not just a self-centered blonde that you're used to.
Yeah, you learn a lot about her in both of the movies. I think you learn a lot about her drive in this movie. Yeah. The fact that she never gave up. She was doubted by so many people, and she didn't give up. Pretty much everybody. And she didn't give up. She was determined. She had her determination, and she was determined to make this happen.
So do you think that this movie was better than the original film?
I don't, and I think that's because the first movie just showed the change. She had, like, crazy character development in the first movie. It was really, really inspirational. This movie, Legally Blonde 2, was also very inspirational, but for a complete different way. And I think that the first one portrays her character a lot more and really shows that anyone can do anything. if you have that drive and determination, it's possible. It shows that things are possible.
Okay, so now that we know that you think that this one is better, no, this is not
the first
better.
one is better.
I'm sorry. The first one is better. I also agree. The first one, I believe, to me, I'm a comedy person, so this one, it was funny at moments, but the first one just took the cake with the comedy. So what do you rate this second film right here?
I rated it a 7 because
Okay.
because
Okay.
I liked it. It just wasn't as good at as the first. Like it didn't show as much progression in who she was. It just kind of showed extra, which is what you would expect. You know, you don't expect her to progress to being like a doctor after that. Like you'd expect her to be a lawyer, but I do think that it was again very inspirational seeing how hard she works and
Yeah.
seeing that you can do anything with hard work.
So I'm gonna have to agree. I rate this movie a 7 as well. Like I said, you know, it had its funny moments. I just think that the story could have been a little bit stronger. But did you know that there's a Legally Blonde 3?
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what they would make it about, but
That's what I'm wondering. Well, at the end of the second one, we've seen her looking at the White House. Do you think they're gonna have her go to the White House
her
and be the
as
president?
Maybe. That would be really cool actually to see her character go from a fashion management
Yeah.
grad to literally the president.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
And I want to know, like, would she change the White House from the White House to like a pink house? 'Cause
Oh.
there was so much pink
Probably
in
not.
both of these movies. But that'll wrap us up for the Legally Blonde movies. And again, so we both think that Legally Blonde 1 was the better out of the two.
Definitely.
So, as of right now, the original film was obviously better than the sequel. So the next movie we're gonna go to is Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Oh yeah.
Now, this movie, Top Gun, definitely gives you 80 vibes. Like you can tell from the jump, this is an 80s film, from the camera work and also the music.
Yeah. I think it definitely shows, like, it's an old movie. It definitely,
Yeah.
and it shows that. But obviously, the message and the theme of movies are so much more important. And I think that the message in the movie was honestly so emotional and important. I said that, you know, the movie shows that you need to forgive yourself, because sometimes the hardest thing in just being human is forgiving yourself for things that may have happened that you think are your fault. Things, you know, like Goose dying, it made him.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You can edit that out.
But yeah.
He put all this pressure on himself, and I really, really loved that at the end, him and Iceman flew together. I think that was my favorite part, and the waterworks were crazy.
Iceman in this movie was a complete douche, like from the beginning to the end.
An attractive douche.
Attractive douche, okay.
He's very attractive.
But yeah, I like the whole dynamic that you seen with Maverick and Goose. They had almost like a brotherly bond that they had, especially when the piano scene where they were playing the song "Great Balls of Fire."
So cute.
Also, great music in this movie. Like the
Amazing.
80s had the best music.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like the bond you can definitely tell was really almost like really genuine. And when, again, spoiler alert, when Goose died, bro, I almost shed a tear. I'm looking like, nope, not today. Like, y'all, you're not gonna do this to me. But yeah, the story was great. The action, which I'm like, I don't know how good you're gonna get with action in a plane. They definitely changed my mind on that. Do you have a favorite scene from this movie?
Like I said, the ending scene of him and Iceman, of Maverick and Iceman flying together, and the fact that it was almost like Iceman was the person to replace Goose in his life, but not there to replace him totally, because Goose will always be a part of Maverick and will always be his co-pilot. And the fact that Iceman stepped up to such a important play in Maverick's life, I think that that's really what made the movie amazing, is seeing those kind of like enemies to friends.
Yeah, like the frenemy thing that we get a lot of these movies. One of my favorite parts of this movie was, again, when at the beginning of the movie where he was flying over I forgot the name of the plane, like the enemy plane. He did like the whole like mirror thing. He flipped them off. I'm looking like he's a cocky person, like very cocky. Yes. But I also
He's
like,
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
he is.
He's a cool guy.
Also like the whole character development. You seen that drastically change as soon as Goose, died or whatever. It just switched instantly.
Yeah. Maverick really, I mean, it was hard. He was, both Maverick and Goose were like, oh, we're going to flying school.
Yeah.
We're going to Top Gun. Like, look at us. And then, like, at the end, Maverick was like, do I even want to be in Top Gun? Do I even want to graduate? And then I think really what made him want to graduate, and I don't know if this was really highlighted in the movie, but I think it was he did it for Goose. He did it because he knew that that's what Goose would have wanted.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's what I say. Like the character development was great because, like you said, he it didn't after Goose died, he no longer wanted it for himself. He wanted to become, he knew that Goose, it was his dream along with his, but he wanted to, carry on his legacy
He wanted
with
to honor
him.
Goose. He wanted to graduate for Goose. He debated on dropping out, and then he realized this is for Goose, and that's really, you can see how much Goose means to him, and the effect that Goose has on him is really, really special, and their bond was amazing, and it was heartbreaking.
So what did you rate this film?
I rated it a 7, actually. Now,
Okay.
I think when you compare it to the second one, this one is not as great, but only because it just kind of, when you see the flying and everything in the second one, you just really think, oh, the first one, it's older, and so obviously you can't get too mad at it, but like it was really, they were different, like it took them so long to develop the second one. It took them like 20 years. Like it took them so long, and it really shows. I rated it an 8 out of 10, only because one, I love the 80s, and you can definitely tell this is a like good like time period like piece. You can obviously tell this is an 80s film, and I believe like for that time, this was like, it changed the game for real. It did. It showed a lot that you have to forgive yourself at the end of the day. It has to happen. Sorry, I'm losing my words.
All right, so now we're going to get into the second one really quick. Top Gun Maverick. When it first came on, if you have not seen Top Gun, you would have not got the nostalgic feel that it brung, because they did like a whole montage of him with like the pictures of him and Goose, the bike. When I'm like, okay, this is a nostalgic piece. This is for people who obviously have seen the first and they love this little franchise. But you definitely tell this is a nostalgic piece, especially when you seen the other characters like Goose's son. What was his call sign? Rooster. Yeah, you can definitely tell because he looked exactly like him.
Very similar. They did some good casting there.
But I say the actor they got to play him, what was his name?
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. They couldn't have not casted a better person than him to play this role.
They couldn't. Oh my God, Miles Teller. Literally, this is not a safe environment for me.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, he did amazing. He really did. Like, I think he played almost like what Goose was left.
Yeah.
You know, he played the part that Goose was not there to play.
Yeah.
He really played that part, and he carried on his legacy amazingly.
So do you have any favorite moments from this second movie?
The ending again, when Goose went to go save Maverick. Spoiler, sorry.
Spoiler alert. You should have said this in the beginning.
When Goose went to go save Rooster. When Rooster went to go save Maverick, I thought that was really sweet, considering that Maverick pulled his papers, and Maverick was doing it out of the kindness of his heart. You know, how much he cared for him, how much he loved him, and how he treated him like his own son, you know?
Yeah.
And he didn't want the same thing to happen to him, and especially on his watch, but just at all, he didn't want it to happen, and he was scared because that, you know, Rooster's mother is gone. Goose is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's him, you know, and it's not easy. That's not easy for anyone, and I think that showed that, you know, the whole shtick of it was like Maverick had to let go of his past in order for the future to be better, for the future to move on. I always say, you know, you have to let go and forgive yourself to make your future better. Your future is going to suck if you're just like, this is my
holding
fault.
On, yeah.
Like, you're holding all these feelings, and they're all just in you, and you need to get them out. And yeah.
One thing I can say about this movie, again, so one of my favorite parts was the other piano scene. It was a direct reference from the original, from the music choice, the song, like the pianos. I love the way that they set up to do it by him just unplugging it, and everybody just hanging out. But the one thing I was a little confused on was, so at the at the end of the original film, we see that obviously Maverick somewhat let go of the fact that it wasn't his fault that Goose died, you know, when he threw the dog tags in the water. I was like, so did he ever like develop as a character? Because we seen he obviously has PTSD. That's a fact. We know that he has that. But do you have any like favorite quotes or lines from the movies? Either one, or I mean this one.
Yeah, I got some from both, but I think that the ones from Top Gun Maverick are more important. I have "It's time to let go."
Yeah, I was just about to say that one. Yeah,
that was, you know, so sentimental and so nostalgic, because it's just kind of like he flew with Ice in the first one, and now they're like best friends, and it's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah, that line right there, the time to let go. I was like, it was so well done because he didn't have to say anything, but yet it also hit as if, you know, he was telling him, you got to let go. That was a good moment.
When he died.
Oh, yeah.
I was embarrassed.
Again, spoiler alert, people, just, if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie.
Full of spoiler alerts. I'm sorry. There's just no way to do this without.
It's like, when Ice died, I was like, I'm going to say it, I wasn't sad. I'm like, good for you, kind of. It was like, even at the end of the movie, he was all like, when they had Maverick to go with them to be his wing, he was like, are you sure about it? I'm like, bro, what are you complaining for? You made Top Gun. Like, what's the point?
Complaining. I think he had the best character development, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because I think that he progressed to be a good guy, and in the second movie you really see that. They're good friends. You can see that he got Maverick that job. Even though Maverick didn't want it.
Right.
He got him the job. And so he cares. He cares about him. He does. And I think he was really developed. You know, Iceman in the first movie reminded me a lot of Hangman in the second movie.
Don't even talk about Hangman. Hangman, I'm just going to say, he should have been shot down before everybody, because the fact that he brought up his dad, you know, him dead, I'm like, oh, we like throw hands. Like after we get outside, we gotta throw hands.
That was messed up, but again, just kind of leading back to like character development and the fact that first impressions aren't always everything.
Yeah.
That was in the last movie. It still applies. And I think that it just shows that you can be a good person. You just have to try.
Yeah.
Like everything comes with trying and with hard work. And this is going to relate to the next movie too.
All right, so what did you rate this film out of 10?
I rated it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I really like this movie. I said this earlier, but I think that the movie just really shows a lot about forgiveness, and that's kind of one of my favorite things ever, is like whenever a film like this, especially one that's, it's about planes and aviators and the Navy, and then, you find this sentimental part. I think that everything played out just how it was supposed to. Everything just fell into the right pieces and built up the puzzle.
I rated this an 8. Originally it was a 7, but I'm like, let me try and be nice. I rated it 8 only because I felt like it didn't have the sentimental like value or whatever, at least to me, that the original had. When the goose died, you seeing like things spiral down. There wasn't that moment in this movie where you actually felt bad enough like for the characters to, I don't know. I'm not sure
I felt pretty bad for Rooster. I think that Maverick and Rooster were the perfect pair all along.
Yeah.
Like they really, at the end, I mean, you just gotta, if you just like watch the end of the movie, it's so
just
good.
Watch it, yeah.
Just watch the end. It's so like sentimental and inspirational, and it shows a lot, and it's all of these feelings, and they're all just played perfectly.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna wrap up Top Gun. So you like the second one better?
Yes.
I preferred the first one. But the next movie we are gonna get into is an animated movie. This is Wreck-It Ralph, and also Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yep.
Okay, so let me get to the notes real quick. Okay, Wreck-It Ralph. So real quick, let me just let y'all know, if y'all don't know what Wreck-It Ralph is or whatever. Wreck-It Ralph is a movie about video game characters. This first one, let's just talk about it. So what do you ever remember seeing the first one? Did you like see it in theaters?
No,
you didn't.
I just watched it like yesterday.
Wait, like your first time ever watching either one of the movies was yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Anisa.
Sorry.
So
Labor Day.
What did you like about this movie?
I liked the like instant flip from Vanellope and Ralph being like enemies. Like they were so mad at each other and like they hated each other, and then they became like really good friends. And then I really liked that, the end of the movie really showed that it doesn't matter what you play. In his case, like he plays the bad guy in a video game. It doesn't matter. He was a good guy in his heart. Yeah. Like his heart showed that he was a good guy. He really, and he thought he needed a medal. Who needs a medal? You don't need a medal.
He needed a medal.
He didn't need a medal. He was a good guy. He was a good guy who played a bad guy. It's like acting, Yeah. And it's like, you play these people and you do certain things to please others, but deep down, you can be anyone you want to be. And he wanted to be the good guy, and he was all along throughout the whole movie, no matter who said what.
I love how you just find all these real deep meanings to all these movies. But
very insightful.
So Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite movies that Disney has ever made. This movie in particular, I love it mainly for the music in it. They had like fun at the end of the credits, the music or whatever. But the whole arcade like situation, and I love that it reminds me of Toy Story in a bit,
Yeah.
to where like when they come to life, but when the arcade closes, they all go into like the what is it, like the port, whatever you like, put all the arcade games in.
The socket.
Yeah. So I like the fact that they all just chilled, and even like the AA meeting they had for the bad guys. That was something I really enjoyed, because a lot of those bad guy characters didn't see themselves as a bad guy like Ralph did. They just realized that that's their role.
Yeah, they liked him. I didn't think that they really hated him. Like he was working himself up for nothing.
Yeah.
Really.
So did you have a favorite scene or moment in the movie?
I liked when Vanellope gave him that heart cookie medal.
Yeah.
That was so cute. And I liked when he had her thing rebuilt, her car.
Oh, the car, yeah. My favorite part of this whole movie was what was it? When Felix, he had the lady punch him over and over. I'm like, bro, like what was the point of this whole thing? And also when Ralph not sacrificed, not like he pushed Penelope over the line for the I guess basically to restart her whole game or whatever.
Yeah.
That holds him, like, so she was the missing piece this whole entire problem, this whole game, the whole time. So I really enjoyed like how it ended.
Me too. Yeah, it was really good.
Do you have any like favorite quotes or lines from the movie?
I have one that Ralph said, that there's no one I'd rather be than me, and I feel like everyone can relate to that, because why would you want to be someone else? You're so cool and unique. Why do you need to be someone else? And then I also have, I don't need a medal to be the good guy. You don't. It's so true. He didn't need one from the start. He was a good guy from the start to the finish. He just had to realize it himself.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines, this is a little juvenile, but when he told Penelope that he won the medal from a game called Heroes Duty, and she was all like, "You won it in a game called Heroes Duty?" Bro, that was funny. And also when, oh my God, what was the line? Oh, gotta go Turbo, when figure out that who's like taking over Sugar Rush, Turbo. I don't know why I feel like that just stuck with me like the entire movie. Ever since they had introduced Turbo, his whole little backstory, which also the villain of this movie was great. I love the voice actor. It was just great.
Yeah, it was funny.
Okay, so what did you rate this film out of 10?
I give it an 8.
An 8? Ooh, okay.
I mean, we'll get into this, but I like the second one better.
Okay. All right, so I gave it a 9.5, only because, one, this movie just hit every check mark that I was looking for in an animated movie like this. So, yeah, this movie is definitely great.
It is really great. It's cool. It was so cool to see like the inside of a video game and see them like running around in the sockets. Yeah. I thought that was really, really cool. Like I didn't expect to like it that much, but I liked it.
All right, now we're gonna get into Wreck-It Ralph 2. Now, Wreck-It Ralph 2. This was
so good.
Yes, this was a great movie. You know what I like? I like the BFF aspect that they had. That you've seen that they built from the end of this first movie. In this second one, they really made it clear that they're best friends. They're always together. This is what they know. This is it. But when we bring in the Wi-Fi, internet changes everything in this movie. So do you have any like favorite lines or scenes from this movie?
I'm just a sucker for the sentimental parts, and like, okay, well, let me start with something not so sentimental. I loved seeing all the Disney princesses. That was amazing. Yes. That was so cool to see all of the characters, like from other Disney movies. I thought it reminded me a lot of Toy Story, like you said. It was really cool to see all. I wish we could have seen some Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Like, what? But seeing all the princesses, and I mean, all of them, and they all looked like so right, you know, like how they were in the animated, and I thought, like, in their movies. And I thought that was...
Little side note, we did see, like, Buzz from...
oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
we did.
We did. We saw Buzz. Right. For, like, 2 seconds.
So, yeah. One of my favorite parts of this movie was when Penelope found her song. When she was looking at like the reflection of the water, and the other Disney princess was letting her know, you gotta find your song. I look at some water, which I thought was very ironic. And now that I think about it, they all looked at some water and just had a song. But yeah, her singing the whole song was great. I love the musical aspect that Disney always puts in their films. Also, when she meets Shank. Shank was like the coolest character in this movie.
Shank was really cool. I want to be Shank's friend.
I don't know about all that, but
he was cool.
Yeah. So those are some of the best scenes in this movie, and also like when he went viral.
Oh, that was so fun. I thought one part that was really sad to me was when he looked at the comments. That broke my heart. Because it's like that's so real for so many people. Like, if your whole life is on the internet, like, you get these mean comments.
Yeah.
And, it's like people are like, oh, it's just like on the internet. Like, they're just words on the internet. Like, who cares? But it matters. It impacts that person a lot. And it made me so sad to see him, like, standing there looking at this huge wall of comments. Yeah. And some of them were so rude. And he's so adorable.
One thing, when it comes to, like, the character development in these animated movies, you don't really see too much of it, especially, like, in a second film like this. Ralph, he was a totally different person from the first movie.
Oh,
he was clingy, a little bit overprotective, everything above, which you obviously can tell because Penelope, she noticed it as well. I keep on saying her name wrong. It's Vanellope.
It's Vanellope. Yeah, I was gonna say
Vanellope. I also like her character building, the way she was somewhat bored with her game, but now she found Slaughter Race, which is a great name for a video game.
Oh yeah.
It was the way she just took to this other like different world, is like how she adapted to it was pretty cool to see.
I love Ralph's heart. You could tell that everything he did was for Vanellope. Yeah. He didn't like think about himself once throughout the entire second movie. He cared about getting that steering wheel for her.
Yeah. And
like he was determined. And then even though, he maybe did care about himself because of the virus thing, but yes. he at the end, he wanted to do what made Vanellope happy. Yeah. And he did. And I think that was pretty cool.
So, what do you rate this film out of 10?
A 9. It was so cute. It was incredible. I love it. I literally put love, love, love 3 times on my notes.
I rated it a 10.
Only
this, I truly believe this movie is better than the original.
It is a lot better.
Yes, they had like so many different characters, different aspects that I can relate to because of like the whole internet thing, which I thought was great. That they put a lot of like pop culture references or so much in this movie.
I also thought something that was funny. He kept calling eBay E-Boy.
E-Boy.
It was really,
E-Boy.
really, really funny.
I also like that they actually had an E-Boy just come out of nowhere.
That was, it was actually really cool to see like that could actually be how the internet works, because I literally put on my notes, I said, I'm now convinced that this is what the internet looks like.
Right.
Like the sockets and you go through. It was so cool. Like you would never think about something like that, and Disney just brought it to like a whole new level, like just plugging in a router and then like, here's this.
So the final movie we gonna talking about is the Terminator. This is for like all the people, if y'all like older or whatever, Terminator. For the younger people, go watch it. Spoiler alert, let y'all know now. Have you ever seen the Terminator?
I have now.
Okay.
Not before, yesterday.
All right, so first off, what did you think of this movie? Well, the original.
really weird. This movie is it's
okay.
weird. It's weird, you know, and that's not necessarily in a bad way. In my case, it is, but like, weird doesn't always mean bad. It just means like it was weird. Like,
Yeah.
it was actually cool that like all of these points connected and it was like one big loop.
Yeah.
But like, weird.
I don't know. I need to finish looking this up or whatever, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe they use like CGI and a little bit of practical effects as well with this movie. And I like the way that it was shot because director James Cameron, who's very well known, the way that he shot this movie, it was so different, especially for the time that it came out, which I believe it also came out in the same year as Top Gun, 84.
I think it was before, if I'm not mistaken.
Either way, I know it came out in the 80s.
I mean, yeah, 80s. 84
Yeah.
was this movie. I remember that. They say it so many times.
But yeah, the way they was shot, I like that they used like stop motion at points, and then mix it in like with the real world, was great use of like the props they had and stuff they had to work with the budget. That was pretty good. So, do you have a favorite moment from this movie?
The ending, the fact that it was over. No. I actually liked the ending. I liked when the kid took the picture and then you actually know what she was thinking in the picture, because I was wondering, what was she thinking in that picture? But I actually also liked when she was like making the recordings for the baby. I thought that was really cute. So, yeah.
I enjoyed when he finally got all the skin and clothes burned off and he was just a skeleton. Like that's the shot that I was talking about earlier, where him just moving real like robot like, real stiff. It was great. It was very well executed.
Yes, it was.
um
It wasn't as bad. I expected it to be like scarier. It wasn't scary. Mostly.
Well, you know what? It was weird because I didn't know how you were going to react to it, because I know the kind of movies you are into. I'm like, Terminator is definitely out of your comfort zone a little bit.
I put it on here somewhere. Here. Parts of the Terminator were really gross. The blood. Like, when he cut his arm open.
Cut his arm open.
I wanted to throw up. I literally wanted to throw. Like, I almost threw up on my brother's couch. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, no. I had to cover my eyes for that part.
Now, I haven't seen this movie in a long while, and I forgot all about that part right there. I'm like, oh, he just went straight into him. Like, you got it.
Has not left me. That is implanted.
So, what did you rate this film? Out of
I changed it a lot. I went from a 6 to a 5.
Okay.
And then to a 7.
So was the final one was a 7?
6.5.
6 point. Okay. 6.5 would do.
Because I can't give it a 7. 7 sounds too nice.
I gave this movie an 8 because, one, I love Terminator. Let's not say all the movies, but leading up to the second one was great. But yeah, this movie was great. The camera work, the practical effects, the acting was pretty good.
Acting is really good in it, actually. I get it.
But yeah, it was good. So let's go to that second movie real quick. The second movie was Terminator Judgment Day. And this movie was a bit different.
Crazier.
Yeah, very crazy. So in this movie, basically, we get the T-1000, which is
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it was like the liquid metal version of the Terminator.
Weird, bro.
Like a different model, whatever. He was crazy. The whole movie was crazy. So
I'll be honest, I didn't really understand it until like I got to the end. And like even then, like there was so much, it's so long. It's like 2.5 hours.
Yes.
There's so much unnecessary parts. Like the last, like before the last 10 minutes, like that time frame.
It was like a lot of filler in there. They're just trying to.
It was like they were trying to just put in all this unnecessary stuff. Like, and I mean, I thought these things were indestructible.
I mean,
they're supposed to be, but they're not.
I mean, I guess they still like are robots, so
yeah,
everything got to come to an end at some point.
When he was melting, I was just like, this is so weird. Like he was.
It reminded me of like
Touching the
Alien a little
floor.
bit, like how he just died, everything was screaming. But yeah, this movie was pretty good. It was great. Do you have a do you have a favorite moment from this movie?
Yeah, I have no fate but what we make.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what. That's what.
That was a
God, what's his
line
name?
that
That's what John told his dad, Kyle,
Oh,
to
yeah,
tell
yeah.
Sarah in the first movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember it in the first movie, but maybe it was in the first movie.
Yeah, I think he was at the close to the end of the first movie or whatever. But I like that
He
they
was dead at the end.
yeah, he died at the end, Kyle. But I like that they kept the same continuity or somewhat continuity. But I also like the way that they brung back Arnold's character, the T-800, which was confusing. Like you said, he was confusing at the start. I'm like, so how are you here? But I thought you was dead. But
My favorite part about the second movie, and something I actually really liked, was that the Terminator was the good guy. I love
yes.
that. I love that he was like reprogrammed to be the good guy. That was really cool to me. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I like the whole fact that she was a considered a psychopath at the beginning of the movie, and she was
Still
ripped.
kind of was till the
She-
end.
Yeah, she was pretty crazy. I mean, like, but now we understood at that point why she was kind of insane because she knows what's going to happen in the future. But yeah, that's definitely
It's
one of
like-
my favorite moments.
I didn't like her being psycho. I liked her nice self in the first movie.
Well, her nice self was gonna get herself killed. She was gonna get everybody else killed.
Gonna die one day.
True. So
But
what do you
yeah,
rate?
ugh.
Oh my bad. You got something to
No,
say?
no, I was just.
All right. So what do you
really
rate
gives
this?
me the yucks. Like, ugh. Sorry.
Yeah, there
That's
were a
rude.
lot of gross moments in this movie. I feel like a little bit more. Like he took off the skin of his arm. He ripped it off.
Oh, that was so
I
bad.
was like, oh, okay. We just went for it.
Yeah, when
But
he just ripped it off.
just ripped it off.
Just took it off like a glove.
That's
was
exactly
really-
what it was. Just a glove. But what do you rate this film out of 10?
A 5, but I kind of want to go to a 4.
Golly. Okay. Wait. So why do you want to give it a 4?
It was really hard to understand.
Okay.
It
I
was-
understand.
And there
that.
was it's so long. There was so much unnecessary dialogue. And I'm
yeah.
not trying to say it was a horrible movie. I think you should watch it. But everything just didn't fall into the right place. The first one, not
That's
bad.
pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. I gave this an 8 only because, like you said, there was a lot of unnecessary scenes in this movie, like her falling asleep at the car, and then
Yeah.
flashback. I'm like, what was the point of this? But yeah, there was a lot of unnecessary moments, and I feel like the action was pretty good.
It was. I think the action in it was better. And I like the bad guy a little bit better. I know I said he was really gross and stuff, but I like that he was melting.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
But so you think the first one is
Yeah,
better?
definitely.
So we can agree on that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up the first episode of the AV Pack Pod. Thank you, Anisa, for being my guest here today.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see y'all on the next episode of the AV Pack Pod. Until then, I'm Kylan.
I'm Anisa.
And we're
We're
out.
out.